Those of you who are joining us on our live stream, we are here in Alicante today to mark the beginning of the 14th edition of the Ocean Race and to meet the skippers who will be stepping up to the challenge of racing through whatever conditions Mother Nature throws at them. Our 6 VO65s and 5 IMOCA teams are representing a total of 19 nations with sailors from all corners of the world. They are here to represent their countries, perform for their teams, achieve their ambitions, and to prove that they can face the ultimate test.
17 yachts from 7 nations are setting out on the world's longest ocean race.
Aboard the KGB, the paratroop present you. All around the world they sail.
You have to do this race.
There's just nothing like it.
It doesn't stop. You know, it's 24/7.
It's got to be one of the most extreme sporting events in the world.
9 months of racing, 9 months of competition. It's the ultimate race.
You can't find it anywhere else.
You're not the same once you finish this race.
It's what I always aspired to do.
This is my Olympic medal, this is my climbing of Mount Everest, this is my childhood dream.
This is where it all begins. This is where it all begins. This is where it all begins. 'Cause this will be the best day of our lives. This is where it all begins.
You'll be probably frightened at times, scared, worried, hate it, and absolutely despise the fact that you're involved. When you get to the finish, you'll know why, because there's nothing like it.
This is where it all begins.
It gets in your blood and you can't get rid of it.
This edition is made all the more significant as it's our 50th anniversary, 50 years since those first sailors stepped into the unknown in 1973. And since that time, the race has evolved, as well as our boats and our sailors. This is the second consecutive edition where every team is represented by both skilled female and male sailors. The Alicante Live Park has been open since the 7th of January and has already broken records for attendance. No surprise when you consider that the fans of the race have been able to enjoy the live concerts, the hospitality, the merchandising, all the pavilions, as well as the racing here in Alicante. The start on Sunday will begin leg 1 of the Ocean Race for our 5 IMOCAs and stage 1 of our very first, the Ocean Race Sprint, for our 6 VO65s. The Ocean Race VO65 Sprint features 3 offshore legs, 4 import races, and it will be a tough competition fought all the way to our grand finale in Geneva. So, let's welcome our 6 VO65 skippers. From the Lithuanian entry, Amber Sail 2, skipper Rokas Melevinkas. From the Austrian-Italian entry, Austrian Ocean Racing powered by Team Geneva, skipper Gerwin Jansen. From the Portuguese entry, Mirpuri Foundation Racing Team, skipper Antonio Fontes. From the Netherlands entry, Team Yayo, skipper Jelmer van Beek. From the Mexican entry, Viva Mexico, skipper Eric Brockman. From the Polish entry, Wind Whisperer Racing Team, Spanish skipper Pablo Arate. Rokas, if I could start with you. You did the race before in 2014-15 as a rookie. Now you're back in Alicante on the start line as a skipper. What is it like to begin this race with the responsibilities of being a leader?
Well, responsibility is huge, and I was thinking like a few days ago, it's a really mixed feeling because you are in charge of like your own team. Like you have to be a leader, you have to grow a lot, and especially with like a new generation of sailors. But you're also racing against all these great people, which with some of them I was in the team, then we raced against, and then this is like a really, really nice feeling where you have your team, but as well competing against another teams which you are friends with in the real life, and it's a really great place to be and to see all you people here in Alicante.
Gerwin, your team are partnered with our grand finale in Geneva. How has that collaboration shaped the team that you now have?
Of course, we are super happy with Genoa. That made it possible that we're here at the start. They also had two very young, good offshore sailors, which they had to offer to us, and they blend in very nice in the team, and we are ready.
Antonio, your sailing team, 100% Portuguese. Do you see your team as inspiring potential Portuguese offshore hopefuls?
Yeah, for sure. I've been sailing and trying to develop the offshore sailing in Portugal for a few years now. And when I speak to Paulo, this was the right opportunity to step forward and have a full Portuguese team for the first time. It's great. We have 4 young guys on board. It's the experience of their lives, for sure.
Jelmer, now, there are more Dutch sailors in the VO65 fleet than any other nationality, and your team boasts a lot of them. It seems like a very good time for Dutch offshore sailors.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm super happy. Like you say, I have 6 of them on board. But I also know, like 10 years ago, there was no Dutch sailor at all in this race. So it's great to have so many sailors in the 65 fleet. I know them all. They're all great sailors. So happy to sail with them and also to compete against them.
It would be fair as well to point out that, of course, Bauer Becking is going to be sailing with you on that first leg. It feels like a lovely opportunity for the legends of the past, passing on some good information to those sailors of the future.
Absolutely. For me, it's great to have Bauer on board. He will be a watch leader. Bauer has a lot of experience in this boat, so it's great to have him on the team, and he's such a nice guy to work with.
Eric, Mexico has been absent from the race for a very long time, especially when we remember that, of course, it was Mexico that won the first edition in 1973. Is your team hoping to reignite that same passion that we saw from Mexico 50 years ago?
Yeah, well, that's been the goal from day one, 4 years ago, when we said it's been long enough from not having Mexico in the greatest race. So we're really happy to finally be here on the start line, which was the first goal, and they did it 50 years ago. Why not now?
Pablo, now your team won the import race here in Alicante last weekend, and by my eye, during this week, all the practice starts and the practice races, you seem to be coming out ahead. For our departure on Sunday, can your Spanish and Polish fans expect another strong performance?
Well, hopefully, but obviously it's going to be difficult. All the teams are very good. I think they haven't been pushing this for these training sessions because we all got late, quite late to the race. So I think we all learning every day. We are training, and it's just getting the crew together every day. So we'll see. We have been good, it's true, but they will come for sure. So we'll see what happens. Will be tough.
Plenty of racing left to come. Now, our VO65 skippers will be available for one-to-one interviews at the end of the press conference. But now is a good time, if you do have any question for our sailors, please raise your hand, state your name and who it is you represent.
Hi, I'm from Denmark. I'm Troels Lykke from Min Båd. I'll just hear if you think you can follow the IMOCAs to Cape Verde, or will it just go away from you? I don't know who can tell me that.
Okay. Well, it's going to be an interesting race. I can see IMOCAs. Look like how the weather forecast is now, that we will get wind ahead through Gibraltar, and I think then the Volvo 65s will be a little bit quicker, so maybe we get a little bit of advantage. And after that, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a battle.
I think it's a very good unofficial competition. Anybody here that was in the Ocean Race Europe, raise your hand if you managed to beat an IMOCA on the water. There's no points for this fight. There's no points, but there's a little bit of pride involved as well. Any other questions from the audience at all? In which case, just a reminder that our VO65 skippers will be available for questions at the end. But probably now I'll ask you, please, just to step down from the stage, and we'll continue with the press conference. Thanks, guys. For the 14th edition, the Ocean Race Trophy will be awarded to one of our 5 IMOCA teams, and each skipper and their female and male teammates are hoping to add their names to the list of those sailors who have been victorious before them. The challenge that awaits each of our sailors has been accurately described as the toughest course that the race has ever produced. 9 host locations around the world, 7 legs, and featuring a 12,750 nautical mile marathon through the Southern Ocean. It's the longest leg in the history of the race. So let's meet the 5 skippers who are taking on that challenge. From the United States, 11th hour racing team and skipper Charlie Enright. From the French entry Biotherm, skipper Paul Meyer. From the French-German entry, Guyot Environment Team Europe, co-skipper Benjamin Détrou. From the Swiss entry, Team Holcim PRB, skipper Kevin Escoffier. And from the German entry, Team Milizia, skipper Boris Herrmann. Charlie, if I could start with you. Every team here, and of course our ocean race family around the world, is on a quest for a healthier ocean. How do you see this race being a useful platform for you to hurry that change?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very large international sporting event. You know, it's the pinnacle of crew to offshore sailing. It gives you a loud voice. The better you do in this race, probably the louder and more credible your voice. And it's a voice that everybody needs to hear. We used to be talking about awareness and the problems facing our oceans and our climate, but now we need to use our voice to talk about action and the solutions that we as a group and a sailing community and as our team and our race organizers have come up with, and share those actions and solutions with the, with the rest of the sailing public.
Well, let me turn to Paul here. And let me ask you a little bit about the IMOCA, the boat that we're going to see. This is going to be the first time that we will be allowed to enjoy watching fully crewed IMOCAs racing around the world. I wonder, as a solo IMOCA sailor, what is it like sharing your boat with a lot of other people jammed into a very small space?
Yeah, I think we did quite the same job with Charlie. Charlie was sailing before on the ocean race with crew, but not on IMOCA. And me, I was sailing on IMOCA, but I never sailed the ocean race. So I think we have to make a big step. And no, that's not easy. Huh? I think for both, these boats are pretty closed, pretty complicated, and we never trained together. As the first time we sailed together with Biotime crew was 1 week ago. But I think, yeah, I feel that will be really great, and both are really close with the speed, and so it will be interesting.
Is it nice as a IMOCA solo sailor in the middle of the night when you are tired and you are hungry, you don't have to get up and do it, maybe you can ask somebody else to do it? Is there a little bit of enjoyment there?
Probably, but normally when we are alone, we are less stressful about sometimes when you're the skipper of the boat, you have to take the responsibility of the crew. That's a big change for me, and probably the first days of the race I will be more stressful, but I will be better after.
Benjamin, your team has a lot of skills coming from all the different corners of the sailing world. Experience in the ocean race coming from Annie Lush and Tamara Echegoyen. How have those different skill sets come together on your boat?
That is not easy to say because we have a very different culture on board. And we are happy with that because it's a great human story. But for sure, if we want to use every skill of everybody, that need to be managed well. And at the moment, we continue to learn and to work together. And yeah, for sure, the idea is to progress and to be better and better during the round the world. So yes, I hope that will work. And for sure, we have a lot of strengths on board. No, not a lot of Volvo Ocean Race or Aussie Ocean Race experience, but yeah, we want to eat, and we are here now, and we for sure all the crew do the best, and we just find to put the good skill at the good moment. But yeah, that's the idea.
Plenty of miles to make that happen, I'm sure. Kevin, the IMOCA, this is a new piece of technology for the ocean race. Obviously not new in the world of sailing, but it really is high tech, and there are more and more opportunities to add complexity and some quite incredible systems. How do you ensure that still the boat is reliable and simple enough that you can sail it no matter what happens?
It's a good question. I think on stage right now, nobody knows. So we'll have to discover that during the legs. We will sail on. I think we've got both. We can share sometimes also on the safety matters. I think it's very important. As soon as it's regarding the performance, definitely we want to hide a few things from the other team, and that's a competition. But as soon as it's a safety concern, I think we all share the information we've got, even for the structure, for the structural parts of the boat. And I think it's part also of the race. I don't want to win a leg knowing that another boat broke because I did not share the issue I had before. So after that, what is very interesting, I think, is to use these boats not only to sail one race, but also to go for different races. And it's a big change, I think, for Ocean Race. I think it's a great move. It's a great move, definitely, because we're able to sail full crew, single-ended, double-ended, as Charlie have experienced on last Jacques Vabre. And I think it's a great move for you. It's a great move for our sponsors to be able to have boats sailing all the time on different races. And it's I think we are all growing together due to that.
Only at the beginning of this partnership then for the Ocean Race and the IMOCAs. Boris, if I could ask you, I mean, Kevin mentioned structure, and obviously you've had a very busy week. You've had to bring in new foils, and you've been working very hard to get everything back on your boat and working. How has that process been, and are you back to feeling confident that your boat can perform?
Yes, first of all, a very good mindset and good camaraderie among the skippers, I would say so far. So I hope we keep this up for the race. And yeah, we were unfortunate with our foils that we intended to use for this race, and the team managed to come back with a great effort to install different foils that we have only now been sailing 3 days that were windy enough to actually foil. And the feeling is very good. I feel confident and very happy to go on Sunday.
Well, just a reminder for everybody, along with our VO65 skippers, our IMOCA skippers are available for one-to-one questions, but now is a very good time. If you've got any questions, please raise your hand, your name, who you represent, and we can hear a little bit more from the sailors. Sorry. Good eye. Yeah, good eye.
Hello. For the German Yacht Magazine. To all of you, quick and spontaneously, who is going to win this race?
We feel pretty good. To pass the microphone, I guess, makes it a little less spontaneous, but we feel pretty good, like our chances, confident.
Yeah, I think for me it's probably the most open race I ever sailed. About the result, I don't know. And that's why it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, for sure. If you have checked the import, like all the boats do first one time, last one time, it was very close. So for sure the race, we have a boat with different skills, team with different skills, very strong teams. And yeah, for sure, it will be a very great race.
No, it's I've been lucky enough to do 2 ocean races before, and the only thing I know is that even if we can't be sure of who will win this race, I'm pretty sure that we'll have plenty of good moments and plenty of difficult moments as well. So it will change a lot, and we've seen on the previous races, even with one design boat, that the overall result may change very quickly. So impossible to say, but I'm pretty sure you'll have plenty to tell about the race we will do for the 6 months coming.
Yeah, the fact that we're only 5 teams keeps it much more open. So if someone is last in a leg, he doesn't lose so many points. That means you can come back in this race, and I support the view of all of you that probably all of us can win. And I would appreciate a little bit 11th Hour, a slightly outstanding favorite on the paper. They have been solely focusing on this race, whereas the other 4 of us, we have been also had plenty of other races on our agenda, and we have the Vendée Globe coming after this. But apart from that, I'm really motivated to go into this race because it seems so open and interesting.
Andy Rice from the Ocean Race. Very quickly and spontaneously, can you tell me, each of you, who you think is going to finish second? I think we have your answer already, Boris. You've given a bit of love to 11th Hour Racing Team, but could I hear everybody else's answer and also give me the reason why?
I prefer to go back to the first question, maybe.
Who do you think is going to put you under most pressure?
And why?
No, what is nice, we have all been sailing together. We've been sailing, Charlie's came even in Brittany. We've been sailing against in quite different conditions. We've seen how boats are very fast, for sure, but we can also lose a lot as soon as we've got an issue. What is sure for me, I don't like on races like that to answer that kind of question, sorry. But what I can tell you is that we will push very hard to be ahead of the other.
So yeah, I just want to say we speak only about boat and the sailors, but behind that we have a lot of teams with a lot of people who work on it, and I think the race is not only boats and sailors, it's a technical team, communication team, logistician team, so it's a lot of people behind that, and I think the race is not will be not win only by the sailors on the boat, but by the team too. And yeah, for sure, 11th Hour have do a good job, and they know the race. They manage that during a long time, and we are very happy to if we can challenge you. No, but for sure, yeah, to be here with everybody of the team is a big challenge, and yes, I think. It's not the challenge only for us, but for the team too.
I can add that with Biotherm, we was the last to launch this boat, and we probably are the more late than the other. So short team work really hard to be at the start, and we probably have the payback probably later, but yeah, and we are sure that we're going to improve our way of sailing during the race.
Yeah, I think you know, we have been focusing on this race certainly for a few years now. You know, the course has changed, the start date has changed, but you know, 3 years relative to the amount of IMOCA experience that I have to my right is just a blip on the radar. So, you know, Paul alluded to it before, but, you know, the IMOCA is new to us, certainly. We come from a more crude environment. And, you know, Kevin definitely has the experience of the race and the IMOCA as well. But, I mean, mostly it's single-handed sailors coming into a crude environment. So, you know, we're all learning new things. You know, I think the point that Benjamin made is a good one. There's not just the race on the water, but there's the race within the race. You know, the logistics, how you carry yourself, how you present, little tips and tricks along the way, also very important. And I think something that we haven't touched on yet that I think is going to be paramount is the reliability of these boats. And if I could go back and answer my spontaneous question from before, I'd say that, you know, the boat that's going to win this race is the boat that finishes the most legs. And the boat that gets second is probably going to be the boat that finishes the most legs. So there's going to be an emphasis on that for sure.
Jochen Rieker with Yacht Magazine in Germany. You have all very different cockpit layouts. I mean, Boris has sort of a deluxe 5-star cabin, and I think Team Guyot, they are living in a very dark place, very tiny, very refined. Do you think this is going to come into play? Is it going to play a role, especially in the longest of the legs in the Southern Ocean, where, of course, all your batteries, your body batteries will wear down? Or do you think it's irrelevant because you're going to be sort of accustomed to the work you are doing there pretty quickly?
Should we pass that down to Boris? Yeah, Boris, why don't you take this one as you have the 5-star luxury hotel.
Yeah, I'm for sure very happy that we have a bit of space, living space, but also working space. The cabin behind the cockpit that you see on the aft deck, we didn't put that on purpose to have a 5-star hotel, but for the class rule, which wants the boat also with some buoyancy when they're upside down, so they can quickly return into their normal position. So it's a safety feature or a volume feature for the class rule as well. And it just turns out that we have a bit more space there, and everyone solves this equation of the IMOCA class rule differently. And we were driven by performance purely, and then fitted the rest around it. So it's just a slightly different architectural answer, but to our benefit for the living comfort.
you have two grinders on your boat. All the others just have one. Your winches are sort of left and right position. Those with Charlie are forward and backward. Why did you come up with your design, and what are the benefits?
The idea of having two pedestals was to be able to see sails from leeward, or when you hoist the sails. Even for single-handed, I would have done that. Because I've been sailing on boats, you know, with a central pedestal, and you don't see anything due to the mast, especially with the wing mast that is quite thick. So for me, it was also, I was able, due to that, to put a bubble and to stand up in the boat. Since I'm pretty sure you mentioned, you've seen that it's pretty low, and even if it's large and there is quite a lot of room, it's pretty low. So I was able, due to the pedestals on the sides, to be able to have this bubble and to have a lot. Since we are quite closed now, we don't see that much forward, especially because the boats are very often bow up. So I think for safety, to be able to trim the sails and checking what you're doing at the same time, it was very important. So, and it was for single-handed, but since we are now full crew, it's very useful because you may have someone trimming the main and someone trimming the forward sail at the same time. So very happy where we are. You can be sitting and having the pedestal, a winch very close, the keel. The idea for me was not to have plenty of room, and I was not able to do it on my boat, since, like Boris said, we've got plenty of stability rules that makes our life harder to design the boats. But the idea was to have at least one or two positions where you are really well, instead of having plenty of room where you're not sure how to fit in. So very happy where we are. And we've seen during the first import, it was the first full crew race we've done together with the whole SimPRB crew. We've been very happy how we were able to do maneuvers.
Kevin, sorry, you were just saying in the bubble you can stand up.
Me.
Is anybody else on your team able to stand up?
Not every. Abby Heller, I think it's there is still even a bit of room above her. But yes, for Abby it's okay. Susan it's okay. Sam Goodchild definitely not. So we are talking about cutting a part of his legs. Yes.
Yeah, shutting him down.
And he's also a bit heavy, you know. 3 weeks in Alicante.
The answer to that question went in a direction I wasn't expecting.
I'm kidding, but yes, we also know that standing up inside these boats when we are going fast, it's not that easy. Sometimes we finish sitting or even on the knees. So it's not a big matter, and even Sam Goodchild, that is quite big and tall, is able to do it.
Yeah, it's to Charlie Enright. It's again Trolls from Denmark. I hear what you think about sailing in the IMOCAs compared to the VO65s. I mean, now it's not one design anymore. What do you think about that? Is more the boat now, or is it the crew?
Well, I think the boat is very heavily influenced by the crew. I mean, the crew is a big part of the design process and helps make the design decisions. So, I found in my sailing career that whether it's a development class or a one design class, the best sailors still win, and they're a part of that process. And I have an appreciation certainly for the Volvo 65. Having done our first 2 races in the 65, if the IMOCA was the platform when we were trying to cut our teeth, I doubt we could have entered the race, to be honest. It's a lot more complex. You have to know a lot more, have a lot more experience. But having done 2 races now, the challenge of the design in this new platform and a development class has been great. We've learned a tremendous amount, and we think that the class is a very good fit for this race, certainly.
But is it good for the ocean race to have the IMOCAs in instead of the VO65s? And how do you think we could get more than 5 boats next time?
In my personal opinion, yes. I think it's a good fit, for sure. I think the way that this race evolved, with the schedule constantly changing and the start eventually being in January, not conflicting with the Route du Rhum, was a big reason we do have 5 boats on the line today. You look at 40 boats trying to do the Vendée Globe, that's amazing. I mean, they must be doing something right. And I think there's, probably 5 to 10 teams right now, I'd say, that are watching this race with great interest. And I think if it's a success, the race is at an inflection point here with this class, and if it's a success, I don't see any problems with entries in the future. I think this is a good relationship, the IMOCA class and the ocean race, for sure.
I will go to Matt, the last one, I think, and then we'll let you guys get going. I know you've got a busy afternoon.
Yeah, Matt Sheehan, Planet Sail. One for Kevin, I guess. Kevin, there's an awful lot of focus on the speed of these boats, and with the foils and everything else, that's understandable. But also, over the years, you'll know, a lot of the focus has also been to go fast. It's actually about learning to go fast around the world. Is about learning how to go slowly. And I just wonder, knowing how to back off, and I just wonder how that changes now, because you've got IMOCA 60s with these high-performance foils, you're looking at foiling in the Southern Ocean, which hasn't been the focus before, and you've got a full crew on board. How do you bring all that together? Is it no longer about learning how to go slowly?
If it was easy, we wouldn't come here, I think. I know that this equation is very difficult. I think it's also why I've got people on board that are coming not only from monohull experience, but also from multi-hull experience, because I think that the IMOCAs we've got right now have the same issue than what we've got on multi-hulls. We are very fast sometimes, but due to the sea state, we sometimes have to, as you said, to decrease the speed and to be able, as Charlie said as well, to go for reliability and to finish the race instead of gaining 0.5 knots. So that is also why this equation needs, I think, not only some racing skills, but also some sailing and sailors skills. And I think it's also very interesting, I think, to be back to that, to be able not only to push for 100%, 110%, but also to be able to discuss with your crew, okay, what do you think? Are we pushing too much? How do we find a solution to be able to go at the same speed, having less load on the boat? And it's also being able to live inside the boat for 1 month. I think it's even easier when we are single-handed, because when we are single-handed, it's only one man, one woman pushing the boat alone, and it's only thinking to you, and you're able to do whatever you want. When you've got 4 people with you, including the onboard reporter, you also have to take care of them and to be sure that we will all be able to push this boat for 1 month, 1 month and 1 week. So I agree with you. It will not be. It won't be only a matter of how fast we can go, but when should we slow down?
Andy, you are the last one.
Starting with Boris, can I ask each of you which leg of the race you believe will be the most challenging?
Oh, that's a pretty simple question, I find. It's a long leg through the Southern Ocean for me.
Leg 3.
When you look at the weather forecast today, it will be no, in Mer d'Almeron today there is a bit of wind, upwind. So even for the start, I think it will start quite as a challenge, which is very nice to start in a race. But definitely, I agree with Boris. We know that 1 month in South, it's always pretty hard, and on that kind of boat, it's even harder, I think. So, and that's why also we are happy to have closed cockpit, as we discussed before.
Yeah, for me, it's approximately the same. We are 5 people on board, 1 IMOCA, during more than 30 days. So yeah, I have never done that in my life. So I don't know. It will be probably the strongest leg. But for sure, for the overall, the first leg and the second leg will be probably the more difficult for us. But yes, I think the strongest will be the third, and probably for the overall, the frustrated one can be the first and second.
I will say the last between Den Haag and Genova, because we will all fight for the first place. But no, I probably do the same for probably the first leg, or first and second leg for me, because yes, it's sure that the big leg in the south will be hard, but we already did, with my crew, we already did it in the single end. But so the challenge to sail together at 5 on the boat will be probably harder in the first and second leg.
I'd say for sure it's leg 3 in the south, and it all has to do, I think, with Matt's earlier question about knowing when to slow down, knowing how hard to push. I think as a spectator of the Vendée Globe, it looks like a race to South Africa, a survival competition to Cape Horn, and then a race back to France. And what happens down there in the south, who knows if it's the fact that they're single-handed and it's the autopilot and we're sailing at 70% of polar because that's all we can do with one person, or if that's just all the boats can handle down there. I mean, that's going to be a big question for sure, exactly how that plays out. So leg 3 for me, for sure.
Thank you very much, everybody, for your questions. We are running out of time, so just a few points about what's in store. Today, out on the water, there is the friendly Pro-Am competition between the teams and their guests that they take on board. Then it's the last available day of preparations before the departures on Sunday. The VO65s will be leaving the dock at 12:15 on Sunday, and then the IMOCAs at 2:20 in the afternoon. And that's a chance for the fans, as well as yourself, to wish them well. And then on the start line, first is the turn of the VO65s at around 2 p.m. And then at 4 p.m., the IMOCAs get underway. Now, you can follow the race on the oceanrace.com website. You can also follow the race on Discovery Plus and Eurosport. And let me just finish by saying thank you very much for joining us, and let me wish our sailors fair winds on their ocean race adventure. Oh. Hey, guys, do you want to just stay there for 1 second? I think this guy's going to get a couple of photos. If anybody does want to take some photos.